Welcome everyone to the 2021 L&M Bozman Affordable Housing Award celebration. My name is Jenny Lawson and I'm the chair of the board here at AHS. 18 years ago, a group of Arlingtonians began to grow increasingly concerned that our community would become a place where only the most affluent could afford to live. But they wanted more for Arlington. They wanted a place where people of all walks of life, all backgrounds, all income levels would be welcome and could afford to live and raise their families. So they founded the Alliance for Housing Solutions, a nonpartisan nonprofit that would work to keep the issues of housing at the forefront of our county board members' minds and would educate their fellow citizens about the issues around housing affordability and would work tirelessly to develop creative solutions to this pressing challenge. Each of you has played a role in this work, and we are incredibly grateful to have you here tonight to celebrate the 13th annual L&M Bozman Affordable Housing Awards. This awards honors the late Ellen Bozman, a formidable leader on affordable housing issues, a co-founder and a board member of AHS, and a 27-year member of the Arlington County Board. We'd like to share a brief video with you as a reminder of just how special Ellen was. Michelle, go ahead. It was wonderful to see those old pictures. I'm so glad we were able to share that with you. Before we get started with tonight's program, I want to thank the AHS sponsors and partners in affordable housing and in our work over the past year. I'd like to thank our champion partners, all of which are longtime AHS supporters, including the Gary O'Hara Family Foundation, the Meyer Foundation, Virginia Housing, AHC, and APA. Our builder partners, John Andelin and Ginger Jeffrey, and Pamela Van Hine and Brian McPherson. Our patron partners, Church of the Covenant, Jane Green, Kellen Macbeth, Kube Ngaje, Larry and Rosemary Padberg, Rock Spring Congregational UCC, and Catherine and Max Scruggs. We're very thankful to them and to our many supporters and friend level sponsors tonight as well. You can find the names of all of our sponsors on the event page on the AHS website also. AHS is a small nonprofit that survives purely on donations and grants. Your sponsorship of tonight's event means a lot for an organization like us, a lot. And it goes a long way to helping us fulfill our mission. Our team is going to drop into the chat a link where you can view information on the awards program, and there you will find a form to donate to support our continued work in the year ahead. There, Laura has posted it. Thank you, Laura. to engage you all a bit tonight because the warmth and camaraderie of a typical Bozman event really cannot be captured in this Zoom format, and we are knocking on wood that this is the last time we'll need to use this format. But tonight we're going to invite you to the closest thing we have found, which is to share using a piece of software called Mentimeter. On your screen, you will see a QR code. You can put your camera up there, capture a photo of that QR code and go to the website, or you can type in www.menti.com and enter the meeting code on your screen. To pull this up in a separate window or on your laptop, it will allow us to use word clouds and conversation boxes to develop a sense of how all of us are doing out there tonight. And Michelle, if you would go ahead and move us to Mentimeter, we can go ahead and get started tonight. Here's our first question to warm us up a little bit and see how we're doing. So how are you feeling tonight? How are things going? Give us a couple of words and let us know how you're doing. What you'll see is the magic of these words formed together in a word cloud. Again, you can go to the chat box to go to menti.com and let us know how you're feeling. So while you're answering the question, I would like to welcome several elected officials that are with us tonight. Matthew De Ferrante, County Board Chair, Takas Karantonis, County Board Member, Patrick Hope, Delegate, Judy Connolly, former Delegate, Mary Hines, former County Board, Jay Fassett, former County Board, Karen Darner, former Delegate, and Mary Margaret Whipple, one of our honorees tonight. And here we go. People are proud and inspired, and like all of these wonderful words of collaboration and energy and gratitude that we see on the screen. I think grateful is certainly the word that I might use to describe how I'm feeling tonight for all of you and for the great work of our honorees. So I think we're going to go ahead and keep on going. The Bozman Award ceremony is usually a celebratory affair. So we're trying our best as we honor the work of one or more individuals and organizations that have gone above and beyond their efforts to promote affordable housing in our community. We eat, we drink, we mingle with friends, we may bid on a couple of bottles of wine, and we remember and reignite in ourselves the reason that we do the work that we do and share in our celebration. But of course, that celebration remains tempered by the seriousness of the ongoing pandemic that we still find ourselves in and of the many challenges and issues still facing our communities today. And so we are thoughtfully together this evening, one more night on Zoom. The Bozman Award is designed to recognize significant efforts to increase the supply of affordable housing, as well as the efforts to improve the quality of affordable housing, both by educating and learning from models in other communities around the country. This year, we're truly honoring that original intent with our 3 awardees and our focus on the theme of leadership. We together exemplify how the components of the affordable housing system must work in partnership, not only to create affordable housing, but to ensure that it meets its intended purpose, not just a sufficient supply of housing, but housing of good quality, well-managed homes, and homes that improve and support the lives of the residents who call those places their homes. So tonight, we're going to begin at the core of affordable housing. It's residents. Residents are the reasons we do what we do and why we all care so deeply about the impact that we're trying to have in the community. Together, we celebrate resident leadership and the resident voice, both required to ensure our community needs are heard, understood, and acted upon, both organizationally and by our political leaders. We celebrate leadership within organizations that develop, own, and manage affordable housing to serve residents and who are responsible for leveraging and stewarding public resources to do so. And we honor our political leaders who must ensure that community voices are respected and honored, and the public resources are mobilized and systems are aligned to meet the community and residents' needs. So first tonight, we are honoring Elder Julio Basurto. This is where I fail. Julio Basurto, and I would like to introduce AHS board member Kellen Macbeth to say a few words about Julio. Kellen, over to you.
Thank you, Jenny. Our first recipient of the Ellen Bozman Affordable Housing Award tonight is given to an advocate, tenant, and affordable housing resident who spent countless hours over the last 2 years working with fellow residents and allies to improve living conditions at the Serrano Apartments. Julio Basurto, an Arlington resident since immigrating here as a child from Peru in 1985, is a father of 3, the small business owner of JB Interpreters, a member of the Arlington Schools Hispanic Parents Association, and an ordained elder at Solid Rock Seventh-day Adventist Church. A tenant at the Serrano from 2015 to the summer of 2021, Julio and his family endured terrible living conditions, including mice and mold infestations that raised serious health and safety concerns. After serving as an interpreter for meetings with other Serrano tenants facing similar issues, organized by Janet Valenzuela and the Kenmore Parents Group, Julio became a tenant advocate and leader fighting to ensure that all Serrano tenants had access to safe, habitable apartments and were treated with the respect and dignity they deserve. Julio worked with Janet and advocates from Voice, Bugada, and the Arlington NAACP to seek justice for consistent cases of discrimination, neglected maintenance requests, shoddy repair work, and unacceptable living conditions that threaten the health and stability of many tenants. This involved years of meetings with the property management and nonprofit owner, Arlington County staff and board members, tenants, and other advocates. Despite years of talk but little action, Julio and the residents pressed on with their advocacy until earlier this year, when their dedication and commitment to justice began to bear fruits. They successfully secured the replacement of the property management firm and a commitment to invest $1.5 million in the Serrano Apartments from AHC Inc., the early retirement and removal of top leaders at the nonprofit owner and property management firm, the move of Serrano tenants from unsafe and unhealthy units to temporary hotels paid for first by Arlington County and then AHC Inc., until they could be safely relocated to repaired units or other accommodations. They also secured the inspection by Arlington County of almost all units across both Serrano apartment buildings and a commitment from the nonprofit owner to fix the identified issues, the establishment of a compensation process by AHC Inc. for residents who suffered damages over the last two plus years, and a serious soul searching among Arlington County leaders and AHC Inc. leadership focused on how conditions at the Serrano got so bad, why the tenants were ignored for so long, and how to make sure this never happens again. Julio represents the hard work and dedication, often in the face of dismissal and complacency, that tenant leaders must take on to ensure that the promise we make to affordable housing residents of truly safe, decent, and affordable housing is a reality and not just a talking point. Julio, on behalf of the Alliance for Housing Solutions, I'm proud to recognize the dedication you have shown and continue to show to ensure that our community treats affordable housing residents with respect and dignity. We are honored to present you with the Ellen M. Bozman Affordable Housing Award.
Thank you, Kellen, for the award. Thank you for that great introduction. And hello to all of our guests here tonight. I am humbled to be mentioned this evening among the great honorees present today. That was my first thought, is what is my name doing alongside such great names? Then Kellen, we had a call with Kellen, and he explained to me the significance of the work that was done. So sometimes it's good to reflect, but I still say only God can do this. I am known in the community as Elder Julio Basurto from Solid Rock SDA Church. I am a 6-year former resident at Serrano Apartments, owned by AHC Incorporated, and a current leader with the community advocate Janet Valenzuela, who has done most of this work. We are what you call grassroots leaders. First of all, thank you, God, for connecting our leaders and exposing the hardships of our vulnerable families that we're living amidst a pandemic. Thank you, Janet Valenzuela, Jeremy McClayton, Marjorie Green, and Saul Reyes for being there from the start. Thank you, Bugata Voice, NAACP, and ASHPA members for standing with us. And thank you, County Board and Ann Venetia, County Housing Director, for standing with us for change. Thank you also, AHS, for this award. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Today, we are speaking about leadership and tenant power, a somewhat unknown concept in Northern Virginia, unfortunately, because Virginia favors landlords heavily over tenants. Protections are so limited for tenants that we can't even protect ourselves against asbestos exposure in Virginia. I found this out when I found traces of asbestos in my living room AC unit while it was blowing over my children over a family movie night. Tenant power affects an array of renters and voters, from our single professionals all the way to our vulnerable families. But what is this thing that we call affordable housing? And is it still affordable housing if tenants are required to pay hundreds in monthly fees for pets, parking, utilities, $100 key fobs, and $100 parking tags? Why do we have it, and for whom was it created? And we that need to live in affordable housing because of skyrocketing prices in our area, should landlords who receive the millions of tax dollars, our tax dollars, be permitted to continually discriminate, mistreat, mentally abuse, and allow their properties to deteriorate to such a point where about 30 families had to vacate their units in May 2021 here in Arlington? So many questions. I am not here to highlight the guilty parties that put about 300 vulnerable families at risk at Serrano's apartments. But then again, it is my duty as an elder and a follower of Christ to fight for my people who come from all levels of education, economic backgrounds, and suffering. Those who travel to the United States in hope for a better life, a just life with opportunity, safety, and bright future for their children to grow. Immigrants from all places, people of color from all backgrounds, and children, elderly, and disabled people who want to live well, just like you and I. But the case is not always so. Vulnerable populations face abuse, racism, economic challenges, job instability due to immigration status, but still have to pay taxes. Some are single parents working 2 or 3 jobs just to access our schools. Others hold grants and vouchers. Others are educated professionals who face academic chauvinism upon arriving to the United States. And yet others suffer with mental illness or disabilities, but have worked tremendously hard to get through recovery, school, life skills, and job training to live in a great place we call Arlington. All these issues are additional mental tolls on these families that they face, along with Arlington's normal requirements and a pandemic. But what does all this have to do with this event? These, ladies and gentlemen, are my people. These are my families. These are our neighbors. These are your tenants, and these are your constituents. These families are what make Arlington the diverse place it is promoted to be today. These are the people in which affordable housing providers you vowed to help. It is in your mission statements. These families are the reason why you were permitted to do business here in Arlington. Their rent feeds your families, supports your way of living. And yet these are the people most often forgotten and disregarded by your staff, leadership, and yes, even your board members with glowing community service resumes. How could what occurred at Serrano Apartment, owned by AHC Inc., happen here in Arlington, Virginia? Now, I promise to pause being an advocate for the purpose of accepting this award, and I will keep my promise, but forgive me if I get off track as I live this. My family faced months of delayed repairs, which caused mice infestation, poor breathing conditions from mold and asbestos exposure inside our AC unit. I have the lab results. Poor handling of repairs landed me in the hospital. We were twice displayed, technically homeless for about the span of 4 months total, with 3 school-aged children during a pandemic. On our second displacement in May of 2021, we were joined by an exodus of about 30 families filling the hotels of Arlington County, fleeing from poor living conditions at Serrano Apartments. We took direct hits, life lessons. But early on, Janet, Marjorie, Jeremy, and I, Lisbeth, started holding resident meetings interpreted by me and began building tenant power immediately. We created a WhatsApp group to communicate and report issues. We took photos and videos. We fought back. We involved the county board to hold AHC accountable. Janet and I, at one point, were so fed up with abuses, we performed inspections ourselves during a pandemic, later joined by Voice for the families suffering from bubbling mold, mice infestations, and threats of eviction. We began confronting all that was wrong with Serrano, and once the NAACP stepped in, so did the media, and this blew open to the public. You can find the articles and photos in rnow.com, keyword AHC, to see the photos and the work. We have accomplished many things that Kellen mentioned already. I don't need to repeat that. Things that many said were impossible. But if we thought like that, we would never accomplish anything. But it shouldn't take the removal of a long-time neglectful CEO and senior VP staff to bring needed change. It shouldn't take the media, advocacy groups, and the needless suffering of families for change to happen. People should have listened to us earlier. Leadership should have stood up for our vulnerable. But you know what? That is the past now. What matters now is what you, highly influential persons in the room, choose to do with your power from here on. That is what matters. We forgive the past, but are looking closely at the future. There is still work to be done. We need your support for change. Off the top of my head, we need 1, funding for more county oversight staff for these properties. 2, creating permanent tenant committees in collaboration with the county to protect our tenants. 3, housing providers with proven track records and quality control systems to care for our tenants. 4, equal treatment of tenants, not only at expensive properties, but also our affordable ones. 5, a redefinition or relabeling of the term affordable housing. What does that really mean? 6, replacement of county staff that fail to perform adequate oversight of these properties or follow up on the complaints submitted. 7, expansion of inspections to all affordable housing. Serrano is just the beginning, and we have reports of the AHC properties with severe issues countywide. 8, a just compensation process for our tenants who lost thousands to 10,000s in property damages and pain and suffering throughout this entire crisis. I am very sad to report that once again, AHC Inc. is making a mockery of victims by offering 1/4 to 1/3 of the total damages. I didn't want to say that, but it has to be said. 9, a change in AHC Inc. culture where they will have integrity and do the right thing without advocate oversight. This has yet to happen. Difficult conversations have to be had for healing, for justice, and for change to occur. But you know what? Together, we can achieve what others say is impossible. We, tenants, decided to fight back. We created a voice and we said enough is enough. Tenants, renters, vulnerable families, you have a choice to make when faced with abuse. You can choose to take it, or you can rise up and fight back and use all that hurt and all that anger to do something about it. To our many guests in influential positions, we appeal to you to place the missing pieces of the puzzle to expand this work across multiple lines. Talk about it. Even small changes will make will help the cause. Housing providers, especially owners and board members, we implore you to never forget what you stand for and what has happened, and to change and restructure your way of operating so this never occurs again. With that said, we, tenants, leaders, Jeremy, Janet, and other leaders announce the opening of the Tenant Association Network here in Arlington, Virginia. And we will fight for this cause. And we will ensure that tenant power and tenant rights are respected here in Arlington and in Northern Virginia. Many leaders, one voice. Thank you very much.
Elder Basurto, thank you so very much for your dedication and your leadership, bringing to all of us the challenges of tenants who are neighbors to all of us. We are pleased to recognize your work for pathways towards change, for building the power and voice of our tenants. Thank you very much for those words of reminder and inspiration this evening. As you all saw in the chat, there were also words of celebration and comments in words of encouragement for Elder Basurto, and each of those are saved and will be shared with him afterwards. So we thanked you, all of you who were able to participate in that way. We are now grateful to turn to our second honoree, Nina Janopaul. And for her introduction, I'd like to introduce AHS board member, Kube Ngaje. Kube, good to see your face. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jenny, and hello to everyone. For many of you, Nina needs absolutely no introduction. For the past decade and a half, she has been a fixture within the affordable housing world in Arlington and in the region at large. Nina recently retired as the president and CEO of the Arlington Partnership for Affordable Housing. Her leadership at APA allowed the organization to grow from a small staff of 3 to one that provides high quality, affordable homes for over 2,000 residents and households, with another 1,000 units in development. Nina led the organization with a deep commitment to resident opportunity and social justice, establishing their resident services program and maintaining a strong, permanent, supportive housing program. Nina was active in the community, remains active in the community, serving in leadership roles on numerous public planning processes, on nonprofit boards, and on commissions. Among other things, Nina was president of the Northern Virginia Affordable Housing Alliance, president of the board for HAND, the Housing Association for Nonprofit Developers, and an active board member of the Virginia Housing Alliance. Alongside all these roles, she has also been a steadfast supporter and partner of AHS and one of our community's most effective voices in support for and of affordable housing investment in the county. Not only is Nina well known and respected locally, she has been referred as a force majeure. She has even been featured nationally in Affordable Housing Finance magazine in 2019 as one of 10 Wonder Women in affordable housing. Nina, we thank you and honor you for your lasting dedication to our community. Arlington has been lucky to have you all these years. I'd now like to invite Nina to make some remarks. Nina, we can't hear you.
Does that look better?
That's perfect.
Great. Well, thank you, Kube, for that wonderful introduction. And I, as you say, have long been a great fan of the Alliance for Housing Solutions, the wonderful work that this organization does, lifting up the voices to create affordable homes in Arlington. We're now at 8,000 homes when 10 years ago, we weren't at that place in Arlington. We have a robust, affordable housing investment fund. And as Elder Julio mentioned, we also are stepping up our game as a community in raising up tenant voice. And that's something that APA has long been committed to. We initiated a group called the Community Progress Network to try and raise up tenant voice to the Arlington community and welcome more activism in that space, and particularly welcome voice and the NAACP to be leaders in the community. So I want to thank everyone here who's on this call for their passion for creating a diverse and inclusive Arlington. It would be easy to let this community continue to gentrify and to exclude people. Rents are going up, housing prices are going up, and it takes active work to change that trajectory. And I know Jenny Lawson, chair, started with this introduction, but I want to particularly thank our elected officials in Arlington, past and present. You are the leaders that can make a difference here. And investing funds and investing leadership. And we all know a lot of the affordable housing also faces challenges with NIMBY and with planning processes. You are the ones that can help us make more happen. And everyone on this call who can raise up the voices of justice and diversity can make our elected officials comfortable making those decisions. So thank you all for your work, for your leadership. And while I have the platform, I also want to give a special shout out to Michelle Winters. I assume you will be doing more to honor her later, but for her wonderful leadership and tenure at AHS as well. Thank you for this opportunity and for this wonderful award.
Nina, thanks so much. And yes, Michelle will come a little later on the agenda, but I know she appreciates your kind thoughts and well wishes. We're now going to turn to our final honoree tonight, someone who's been on this virtual stage before. To introduce her this evening, I'm delighted to welcome Ellen Bozman's daughter, Martha Bozman, and a board member here at AHS. Martha, good to see you.
Thank you, Jenny. It's an honor to share some information about Mary Margaret Whipple. Mary Margaret has a long history of service in Arlington, beginning with her roots in education, a former instructor at Northern Virginia Community College. Mary Margaret was appointed to the Arlington County School Board in 1976, back when the school board was an appointed body, and served as its chair in 1978. It must have been around then, before Mary Margaret went on to her further civic heights, that I recall my mother, Ellen Bozman, visiting me in Brattleboro, Vermont. She was tickled to notice a one-way street, Whipple Street, that went only uphill, only upward. I know that was what she hoped for and predicted for Mary Margaret, and she was certainly right about that. Mary Margaret was elected to and served as a member of the Arlington County Board for 12 years, from 1983 to 1995. She then represented the 31st District in the Virginia State Senate from 1996 to 2012, a seat now held by Barbara Favola. While there, she was the first woman ever to hold a leadership position in the Virginia General Assembly, chairing the Senate Democratic Caucus. Last year, we celebrated her role as an AHS board member when she retired from our board after almost a decade of service. This year, we honor her contribution to housing in Arlington and across the state with the Bozman Award. Some of the things that she has made happen or helped make happen in her years as a leader. While in the Senate, she sponsored many bills on topics of real importance to her, such as environmental issues, green building, and education. Of particular interest to this audience, Mary Margaret fought for years in the General Assembly to create and find a source of revenue for the Virginia Housing Trust Fund. Since it was finally established in 2012, the trust fund has helped create over 3,600 units of affordable housing for low-income households throughout the Commonwealth. Mary Margaret also shepherded a bill that helps affordable rental housing properties get more fair treatment in their tax assessments. This may not sound like a sexy topic, but it's a great example of the kinds of policy efforts that can really make a difference in reducing costs and helping keep housing affordable for people over time. Mary Margaret, for these and your many other activities working side by side with AHS over the years, we are forever grateful for your competent leadership, steady guidance and service to us as an organization and in the broader community and state. With all admiration and appreciation for your years of service and your example of caring leadership, we thank you so and honor you for your lasting dedication to our community. And we are delighted to be giving you this evening the Ellen M. Bozman Affordable Housing Award. Thank you, Mary Margaret.
And thank you, Martha. Thank you for your kind words, and I so appreciate it. I feel that this is such an honor, especially in the company of such distinguished persons, Elder Julio Basurto and Nina Janopaul, who have done so much for the cause of housing in Arlington. Tonight's program is also a testament to the legacy of Ellen Bozman, who was my friend and mentor, a woman who did much to shape the Arlington of today, and who worked from the very beginning to make this an inclusive community in which each person was important. Housing is foundational in all we do. Home is where the heart is, and having safe, decent, and affordable or achievable housing is essential for everyone. We live in a time when that kind of housing is simply out of reach for so many. There isn't enough housing to go around, so it's expensive, and the economy works against us. This is, on the whole, an affluent community, but many are not affluent, and they need the force of community willpower to provide the housing and opportunities that they need. This is anything I've learned in my years of working on affordable housing. It has been that we just need every bit of volunteerism and activity and every resource we have at our command to make it possible. We need volunteers. We need beneficent developers. We need a county government that is sympathetic and concerned about housing for all its people. We need financing. We need VHDA, now Housing Virginia. We need more money devoted to this whole issue. We need every resource at our command to work on housing issues because they are complex, they are difficult, they are important, and we need all of us to work together. And so I guess that's why I'm so hopeful tonight to see a room full, in this case, a Zoom room full of people who have devoted their professional lives to the issue of housing, to volunteers who have contributed their dollars and their time to work on affordable housing issues. All of these things have added together and make me feel that one of these days we will be able to do even better than we have been able to do thus far. So thank you all for your involvement, your commitment, and your contributions to affordable housing in Arlington.
Mary Margaret, it's my pleasure to add my thanks to everyone else's. And I did see in one of the well wishes to Mary Margaret, and feel free to add your own, the the comment about the role that Mary Margaret has played as a mentor and leader to so many women across Arlington who see how to lead from a position of strength as a woman in this community, and what can happen when women lead. So I am incredibly grateful for your personal mentorship and for your leadership for on behalf of all of us. So thank you very much for your dedication to our community. I love the line about the force of community will, right? It is what we're building around our work. It is about the force of building community will. And my guess is that the strength of our will is going to be needed now more than ever. So at this point in our program, every time we take a moment to honor members of our own board who are retiring. And this year we are adding a recent announcement that our board member, Ann McCullough, is retiring from the AHS board because she's taking a big new role out on the West Coast, so she will be leaving us. For the past years, Ann has been president and CEO of the Housing Partnership Equity Trust, a national public purpose real estate investment trust focused on acquiring and preserving affordable rental housing. She's also been a senior executive prior to that at Fannie Mae, HUD, and the Resolution Trust Corporation. So now it's only fitting that Ann is stepping back from our work to become the executive vice president and general counsel for the Federal Home Loan Bank Board of San Francisco starting next week. As an Arlington resident, Ann has been tapped by AHS as a board member twice since our founding. And so we have been especially grateful, and we look forward to celebrating with her success in the future in this new and equally important role. So Ann, thank you so much for all of your past work and guidance over the years. We'll miss your smart expertise and her Southern charm. I also would like to make a couple of more announcements, and Nina sort of opened up the one that most everyone knows, I'm sure, which is that AHS is going to be saying farewell to Michelle Winters. Michelle, if we can pin Michelle or whatever we do to get us both on the screen together, and maybe we can take down the document at this point. Michelle has asked us to celebrate with her in the early part of the new year. And so we're going to wait till that moment to sort of find a moment to bring us all together. But I wanted, amongst the friends and family that always gather for the Bozman Awards, Michelle, on behalf of the board, to say thank you for your years of service. You have been a tireless advocate for affordable housing issues in the county. Your astute understanding, relationships, and connections to affordable housing policy, not only here in the county, but across the country, have elevated the quality of our work, the quality of our events, the success of initiatives throughout the community. And your leadership of this organization has helped to develop the most diverse board we have ever had, and the most financial success that we have experienced in the history of our small organizations. To me, those are the skills and expertise that are a hallmark of success, as well as your gracious personality in the face of tough comments from Arl Now and the rise of social media. You have remained thoughtful and gracious and a true leader, and we will be forever grateful for your service. And so now I invite everyone to just, click, use your emojis, whatever, to really give a moment to Michelle for all that she has done. And as I said, she's asked us to celebrate later with her. So look for an invitation for that opportunity sometime in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for the kind words. I don't have much to say tonight, but I'll talk to you all later when we do convene in person. I promise.
I also would like to take this opportunity to thank Martha Bozman, who has agreed to step in as the interim executive director for AHS. The AHS board has been undertaking a thoughtful reflection of the role of the organization, about how we lift up voices in our community and what that means for moving forward. And so we are going to take our time to make sure that we are building the right organization to continue to move our work forward collaboratively. And while we go through this period of discernment and of identifying the next leader for our organization, we couldn't be in more capable hands. So Martha, thank you very much for agreeing to step up to this role in the interim. Yes, we're all very happy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Having said that, the job description for the executive director role can be found on the AHS website. Laura, perhaps you or Michelle can drop that job description into the chat in case anyone has found their new calling. We want to make sure that you know exactly where to go to apply for the role. Before we depart, I also want to thank Stephanie Boyer, who was an assistant and in the there's a couple high fives out there in our work, and she too will be departing in partnership with Michelle. They served a powerful role, and Stephanie was a big part of the success of the Bozman events over the years, and we are deeply grateful for all of the things that she has done to be a leader for us. And as we decide how the organization is going to be staffed moving forward, you can expect to see some increased opportunities. And also would like to thank Laura, who is off camera, but is our marketing and comms person. I know you all have seen a big step up in the quality of our marketing and communications on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, and all of that is because of Laura. So we are incredibly grateful for her hard work on behalf of the organization as well. Now, those of you who are regular attendees of the Bozman Awards know that one of the main reasons to come to the event, in addition to honoring our awardees, is to catch up and mingle with our fellow housing audience and supporters. Unfortunately, we're going to have to save that mingling for that in-person event that we promise you to honor and recognize and spend some time with Michelle. But I would like you to remember that the work we do is only made possible from the generosity of our community. A collective effort of business, charitable foundations, and individuals who share our mission. I was thinking a lot about this today, actually, and about the importance of the organizational name, right? We are an alliance towards solutions, towards housing solutions. And that alliance is built both by the time and energy of all of you who contribute to this work, as well as the financial support that you offer to keep this organization going. Our voices, intertwined with those of our leaders who were recognized tonight, really are what create the solutions that set this community apart from others. And we are incredibly grateful for your ongoing engagement. And I'm going to say that again, your ongoing engagement. We're going to have a tough couple of years, and we welcome your engagement and participation. As we look to the end of 2021 and the challenges we plan to tackle in 2022, and I have a feeling there are going to be some, we hope that you will consider making a year-end gift to support the work of AHS. We appreciate your contribution of any size, and you may make a gift online or send us a check, and the link to our donation page and mailing address are posted in the chat if magic happens. And I want to thank you again to all of you who've donated to support our work in the past. Thank you for your continued support of this important work. And then we've got one final opportunity to share your thoughts, and we'll say goodbye for tonight. So don't go away yet. Get your Mentimeter fingers going for one last bit of sharing and engagement. We thank you very much, and we wish you all a happy holiday season from those of us at AHS. Have a great evening, everybody, and thank you so much. And thank you to our award winners.